Hello, I will going to discuss the special products. So special products is the first topic that you will going to discuss in your grade 8 mathematics subject. So under special products, we have the miscellaneous binomials. And then miscellaneous binomials is in the form of FOIL method. So I know you are already familiar with the word FOIL method. And since miscellaneous binomials, here in the illustrations, x plus a, x plus b is equal to x squared plus the sum of the constant term, which is the letter a and b, plus the product of the constant term, which is a and b. So here in the form of these miscellaneous binomials, we apply the FOIL method, and we all know that the x here is the variables. And then to the next formation of miscellaneous binomials, the variable a here and c is a constant term, also with the variable b and d is a constant term. So let's move on to our example. So here in our example, we are going to apply the formula or the FOIL method. So in FOIL method, we all know that f is a first step, followed by the outer, and then the inner, and then the L, which stands for the last term or last step. So first, how do we simplify the given problem? So we need to apply first the letter F, which is the first step. So this is the first step, which is the x times x yields x squared. And then the outer, which is variable x multiplied to 7, which yields 7x. And then next is the inner, which is the 6 times x, 6x, and the two constant number, which is 6 times 7 yields 43. So as you notice that the outer and the inner is a constant, is a like term, so we need to combine this. So we need to add 6x plus 7x is equal to 13x. So always remember that our outer and inner, we are always combine this. So the final answer for the given problem is x squared plus 13x plus 43. So this is the answer in this problem. So next, let's move on to our next example. So 3x minus 5 multiplied to 2x plus 3. So again, the first step, 3x times 2x is equal to 6x squared. And then 3x times 3, which is our outer, 9x. And our inner part, which is negative 5 times 2x, is equal to negative 10x. And then the last step, which is the negative 5 times 3, is negative 15. So again, we need to combine the outer and the inner since they are like terms. So negative 10x plus 9x is equal to negative x. So the answer is 6x squared minus x minus 15. So this is the final answer. So here in our example, we use the second form of the miscellaneous binomials. And then in our example number 1, it is in the form of this form of the miscellaneous binomials. So next, under special products, we now move on to the square of binomials. So square of binomials is in the form of a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And then the other one is negative, which is a minus b squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So we need to follow these three basic steps in solving squaring of binomials. So the three basic steps in squaring of binomials is square the first term. So we need to square the first term. So a squared is equal to a squared. And then in getting the middle term, we need to twice the product of the first and the second term. So a times b is ab times 2 yields positive 2ab. And then the last step is square the second term, which is b squared. So ganun lang din sa ating negative part. So now let's move on to the example number 1. So 4x plus 2 squared is equal to, so again in applying the three basic steps, the first step we are going to square the first term. So we need to write here 4x squared is equal to 16x squared. In getting the middle term, we need to twice the product of the first and second term. So the product of our first and second term, 4x times 2 is equal to 8x. So we need to twice the 8x is equal to 16x. And then in getting the third term, we need to square the second term. So 2 times 2, 2 squared is equal to 4. So the answer in this problem is 16x squared plus 16x plus 4. Next is the example number 2. How about if negative 8m minus 5n squared? So again, we need to square the first term, which is 8m squared. So 8 times 8, 8 times 8 is equal to 64. M times m or m squared is m squared. And then again in getting the middle term, we need to get the product of the first term and then the second term, and then we need to twice them. So 8m times negative 5n is equal to negative 40mn times 2 is equal to negative 80mn. And then the last step is squaring the second term, which is negative 5n yields positive 25n squared. So this is the answer in this given problem. Next, under the special products is the multiplying the sum and difference of two terms. So in multiplying the sum and difference of two terms, it is in the form of opposite. So a plus b times a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. So as we noticed, in this form of multiplying the sum and difference of two terms, these are the three basic steps to follow. So first is squaring the first term, which is a squared, and then always put a minus sign between them as the operation. So a squared minus, and then in getting the second term, we need to square the second term, which is b. So in our example, 8m plus 5n times 8m minus 5n. So again, in applying the three basic steps, first is square the first term. So 8m squared is equal to 64m squared. And then always put a minus sign between the first term and then the second term. So 64m squared minus, and then in getting the second term, we need to square the second term, which is negative 5n squared. So negative 5n squared is equal to positive 25 n squared. So we need to put this 25 n squared here. So the answer is 64m squared minus 25n squared. So this is now the final answer. So how about in this example? So another example. So n minus 5 times n plus 5. So again, square the first term, n squared, and then always put a minus sign between the first and then the second term. And then next is square the second term, which is 5. So 5 squared is equal to 25. So the answer is n squared minus 25. Next, under special product is the cube of binomial. So the cube of binomial is in the form of a plus b cube is equal to a cube plus thrice the squared first term multiplied to the second term, which is b, plus thrice the product of the variable a times squared the b, and then plus cube the second term. So in example number 1, 4x plus 5 cube is equal to unknown. So again, we need to follow this step by substituting the given. So here, a cube. So the a cube here is the 4x. So 4x cube. So 4x cube is equal to 4 times 4, 16 times 4 is 64. So 64 x cube. And then next is thrice, or we need to follow this format. So thrice the first term. So 4x, i-square natin siya, times the second term, which is 5. So 4 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16x squared times 5. So 16 times 5 is equal to 80. So 3 times 80 is equal to 240. So this is equal to 240. And then next is thrice the AB squared. So again, the letter A serves as the first term, which is 4x, times the B squared, which is the second term, 5, is equal to 3 times 4x is 12x, times, so 12x times 5 squared, which is 25. So we need to multiply 12x times 25. So 25 times 12. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1, 5. 5, 2. So 300. So the third term is 300 x. And then next, the final, or getting the fourth term, we need to cube the second term. So 5 cube. So 5 times 5 is 25. times 5 is equal to 125. So the answer in this problem is 64x cubed plus 240x squared plus 300x plus 125. So, i-rewrite lang po natin itong 64x squared. So, 64x cubed plus 240x squared plus 300x plus 125. So, this is the answer in this given problem. Next is 4x minus 5 cubed. So, how about negative naman? So, again, we need to follow this format. So, a cube, which is the 4x. So, we already know that 4x cubed is equal to 64x cubed. 64x cubed. So, since minus yun, ilalagay na lang natin siyang minus dito. And then, the thrice a squared multiplied to b is equal to 240x. 240x. And then, plus. So, we are going to put plus. And then next is 3ab squared. So the value of our 3ab squared is 300x. 300x. And then next is minus. So minus. The value of our b cube is 125. So the answer is 64x cubed minus 240x squared plus 300x minus 125. So, ganun lang po ang pag-solve sa ating cube of binomial. Kung positive po yun, the sign of all terms are positive. And then kapag negative naman, negative, positive, negative. Next is the squaring of a trinomial. So, in squaring of trinomial, it is in the form of a plus b plus c squared. So, a plus b plus c squared is equal to a squared, square the first term, square the second term, which is b squared, square the third term, which is c squared, plus twice the product of the first and second term, which is 2ab, plus the twice the product of first term and last term, which is 2ac, plus twice the product of the second term and then the third term, which is 2bc. So, proceed to example number 1. So, 2x plus 3y plus 4 squared. So, again, as we notice, the first step is squaring the first term, second term, third term, or the last term. So, square the 2x. 2x squared. So, 2 times 2 is 4. X times x, or x squared, is x squared. Plus, since positive lahat, we are going to put plus sign. And then next step is square the second term, which is 3y. So 3y squared is equal to 3 times 3, 9 y squared. And then the third step is square the third term, which is 4. So 4 squared is equal to 16. And then next is twice the product of the first and second term. So the product of our first and second term, 2x times 3y is equal to 6xy times 2 is equal to 12xy. And then next, after squaring the first and second term, we need to twice the product of the first and last term. So the first and last term here is 2x times 4 is equal to 8x times 2, 16x. And then last is twice the product of the second and third term. So the second and third term here is 3y and 4. So we need to twice their product. So 4 times 3y is equal to 12y times 2 yields 24. 24y. So the answer in this problem is 4x squared plus 9y squared plus 16 plus 12xy plus 16x plus 24y. Next example number 2. How about may negative naman sa third term or the last term? So again, sundin lang natin yung pattern dito or this step. So square the first term. Square the first term is 4x squared. So positive 3y squared is 9y squared. Square the third term, which is negative 4 squared, is positive 16. And then twice the product of the first and second term, 2x plus 3y is equal to 6xy times 2, 12xy. And then next is twice the product of the first and last term, 2x times negative 4 is negative 8 times 2 is negative 16x. And then last is square the twice the product of the second and third term, which is 3y times negative 4 is negative 12y times 2 is negative 24y. So the answer is 4x squared plus 9y squared plus 16x ay 16 plus 12xy minus 16x minus 24y. So next, example number 3. How about the negative is the middle term? So twice the or square the first term. So again, 4x squared. Square the second term, which is negative 3y squared is positive 9y squared. And then square the third term or last term, which is 4, positive 16. Twice the product of the first and second term, 2x times 3y is equal to negative 6x times 2, negative 12xy. Twice the product of the first and the last term, 2x times 4 is 8x times 2 is 16x. Next is twice the product of the second and third term. So negative 3y times 4 is negative 12y times 2 is negative 24y. So this is the answer in this example number 3. So how about example number 4? The middle term is negative and then the last term is negative. Or they are all negative sign. So again, square the first term, 2x squared is equal to 4x squared. Square the second term, which is negative 3y, positive 9y squared. Positive 9y squared. And then next is square the last term, which is negative 4, positive 16. And then next is twice the product of the first and second term, 2x times negative 3y is negative 6xy times 2 is negative 12xy. And then twice the product of the first and then the last term, which is 2x times negative 4 is negative 8 times 2, negative 16x. And then last is the twice the product of the second, and then the last term, which is negative 3y times negative 4 is positive 12y times 2 is positive 24y. So this is the answer in this example, number 4. Next, under special product is multiplying a binomial and a trinomial of the form a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And then the another form is a minus b multiplied to a squared plus ab plus b squared. So again, this is a binomial multiplied to a trinomial. So in the given example number 1, x plus 2 multiplied to the trinomial x squared minus 2x plus 4. So we need to distribute or use the distributive property, which is the first step is the first term multiplied to the trinomial. So x times the first term in the trinomial, which is x squared. So x times x squared is equal to x cubed. Next is x times the middle term of the trinomial, which is negative 2x. So x times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. Next is the third term of the trinomial multiplied to the first term of the binomial. So x times 4 is equal to positive 4x. Next, after distributing the first term in the binomial to the trinomial, next is the second term. So 2 times x squared is positive 2x squared. Next is 2 times negative 2x is negative 2 is negative 4x, I mean. And then last step is positive 2 times positive 4 is equal to 8. So we need to combine like terms. So the like terms here is the negative 2x squared and then the positive 2x squared. So since negative 2x squared plus 2x squared, they are the same term but different signs, so they are cancelled. Next is the positive 4x and then negative 4x, so cancel. And then the final answer now is x cubed plus 8. So this is the final answer in this example number 1, x cubed plus 8. And then as you notice in our example number 1, so there is a basic step in getting the x cubed plus 8. So nandito yung mas madaling solution or the formula in getting the answer. So the shortcut method here is just cube the first term in the binomial, which is the x. So x cubed plus, since positive, we need to use this as the formula or the sign here in the middle. And then next step is cube the second term of the binomial term, which is 2. So 2 cube is equal to 8. So this is now the final answer. So in this example number 1, this long method, this is the proof in getting the answer x cubed plus 8. While in this step is the shortcut method. So again, the shortcut method in this under special product, the multiplying binomial to trinomial, we need to take this binomial term and then get the cube of this term. The first term and then the second term. Okay, that's it for today. And for the next video is about the factoring.